Hello and welcome to everybody. Hey Joel, how are you doing today?
Hey, doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I would love to know from the audience if everybody can hear us loud and clear and see us as well. So maybe somebody can drop it in the chat if we are audible, if you can see us. Yes. Thank you so much, Madeline. And today we actually have a very, very special session. Usually we talk a lot about how to increase productivity, how do you, progress in your career, how do you, make all these amazing things and complicated tasks that we do in our work life. How do you make all of this happen and do it better, faster? But Joel reached out to us and he's been in our community and specifically in our space, we often see people in the want to achieve a lot, we often kind of neglect the most important thing, which is our mental health and how do we feel with the pace at which we are doing things. So personally, I was very instantly, it felt like a topic that I would love to be a part of as an audience. So we thought that we had the amazing opportunity to bring Joel here to talk about things that are important for us to even vaguely want to do better things in our work life. So, without much ado, I'm going to get out of here and give the stage to you, Joel. But before I do that, I would love to give a shout out to our sponsors, without whom we would not be able to bring these sessions to all of you. So, we have three sponsors for today's GTM session. We have Revenue Hero, which helps you accelerate your pipeline and schedule meetings, qualify, route for your sales reps. We have The Juice, very interesting. We work with them ourselves at Rev Genius, helps you bring your content in front of a lot of relevant audience. And we have Seamless.ai. With that said, I'm going to give it over to you, Joel, for this session. All right, all yours.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Just going to get this screen shared, hopefully effectively. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for choosing to invest your time, energy, attention. Every time you choose to invest an hour, there's always an opportunity cost, right? You could be doing anything else right now. So I'm really grateful for you being here. And yeah, let's talk about ending anxiety and self-doubt. And basically, I'm going to share with you an innovative, a new tool to do that in a very fast and effective, permanent way. So just to kind of jump in here about what this is going to look like for today's session to be as efficient as possible, I'm going to give about 20 minutes of a little slide presentation, and then I'm going to invite one of y'all to do a demo with me, and I will walk you through this new tool to clear out a limiting belief in your subconscious mind. Now we'll talk about what that looks like, but then at the end we'll have some time for Q&A. So that's kind of just a little bit of the scope here. So who am I? My name is Joel Bine, and I help ambitious and growth-minded professionals permanently remove long-standing mental and emotional roadblocks, setting them free towards wholeness. And with my guidance, you'll unlearn what gets in the way at the root to experience life-changing results, rapid life-changing results. And at the end of the day, like, I come alive by helping people come alive. So this idea of unlearning is a key word that I like to highlight, where we're letting go of that self-talk, those negative emotions that are wired in from earlier parts of our lives that are sort of clutter, that there's these extra layers that are getting in the way towards your freedom, your wholeness, your empowerment, and really becoming the full, alive, curious, creative, empowered self that you're meant to be. So that's kind of what makes me tick. So let's get into this a bit. Like, what are the problems here? I mean, we know that we often have these inner critics, this mental chatter, this imposter syndrome, procrastination, anxiety, all these things that I think we often learn to just tolerate, right? Like, we kind of think, well, in order to be a productive, ambitious professional, we just need to kind of muscle through this stuff. And that's just how it is. And look, there's value to that. There's value to, facing your resistance and facing those obstacles and moving right through it and not letting these things get to you. But my question is, can we let go of those layers to begin with? So, I mean, look, all these things, hustling for self-worth, money blocks, sales blocks, all of these, by the way, I've suffered to one degree or another in my life. And probably the biggest ones for me have been like the hustling and overworking type thing, as well as this one might be an interesting one for y'all, is the money and sales blocks, right? What do we have that's doubting ourselves as we make those cold calls or we pitch the sale? What beliefs have we absorbed that are just in the subconscious minds that create this anxiety, that create the self-doubt, that create the friction, right? So we'll get into more of this, but this is kind of, pick your pattern, right? Pick the problems that are kind of creating these negative self-talk and negative emotions. And now my question becomes, what could be the root cause? What could be the root cause? And that's the question I've always been interested in, is where did this stuff come from to begin with? I've always been interested in finding the fundamentals and the roots of things. I'm a classical musician by training, actually. And so I've always been interested in, like, let's build the fundamentals. Let's learn my scales. Let's build these skills from the ground up. So I'm interested in understanding the root cause of things. What are these perhaps beliefs in the subconscious mind that are filtering our reality and are creating that negative self-talk and negative emotions? So if you have something like, I'm not good enough, I'm lazy, sales is dishonest, like this sort of story that's wired into the subconscious mind, that's going to be filtering your experience. So let's be clear about like this kind of frame of how I see the mind and the psyche, right? So these beliefs, it's not you that really believes them, but it's parts of you. So if anyone's seen the movie Inside Out, Disney Pixar movie from like 10 years ago or so, you have the main character, Riley, that little girl on top, and then inside of her head are these different parts of her. You have sadness and fear and joy and disgust and grumpy, and they all have different opinions, different thoughts, different feelings. And they're all trying, right, to help Riley out. Part of me thinks this, part of me feels that. So this is a really valuable way to view yourself and these different voices in your head and different emotions you're having. It's not the true whole capital S self you, but there's just these parts of yourselves, and those parts of you have these beliefs that are creating these types of negative self-talk and negative emotions. So again, I'm interested in the root. So where these parts of ourselves have these negative beliefs, okay, well, where do those come from? Well, a big part of my sort of intellectual and personal journey is thinking about the school system. I'm a former teacher myself. And I've studied the history of the school system. I've thought a lot about what's going on in the school system and the problems with the school system and the psychology that's kind of embedded into it. So if you think about it, it's like we have this sort of industrial model that's teaching us to fall into line, to do what we're told, follow directions, and do the homework, and of course don't get in trouble. Like make sure you get good grades, make sure you don't get punished and are in trouble, and follow directions and all that stuff. And this is happening for 15,000 hours of your life. Like if most people are going to, a typical school system, and again, it's not to point fingers at any teacher. It's just kind of recognizing, oh, wow, like what this kind of obsolete system in many ways, how has that affected us when we were kids? And then how are those experiences as kids affecting us as adults? Now, it's not just the school system. There could be experiences at home. It could be experiences as adults where you create negative beliefs. But that's just one place a lot of these things start. So yeah, like take a look at this list. And these are some, standard beliefs that a lot of people have that could be resonating with you. And there's beliefs about our own self, like self-worth. I'm not good enough. I don't matter. I can't do it. I'm a bad person. I'm worthless. I'm stupid. Nobody cares about me. If you just kind of sink in and ask yourself if I just say one of these beliefs to myself, do I feel it? Does it feel heavy in my body? If it feels heavy in your body, that's a sign that that one is true for you. That one's filtering your reality. We'll talk more about that in a minute, but think about there's different buckets. I mean, I've worked with people on thousands of different types of beliefs, including myself, working on myself with this method to clear out the beliefs. And there's different buckets I find. And there's self-worth, there's failure, fear of failure, there's fear of self-expression and assertiveness. There's all sorts of stuff about work ethic. I don't work hard enough. I'm not doing enough. And then, like I said, money and sales. Like, you just might believe, a part of you, right? A part of you might believe in the subconscious mind, sales is dishonest, or I don't have enough money. These types of things. So just checking the chat here. Okay. Yeah, so now let's look at this major one. Oops. I'm not good enough. Let's just sink into this. And this is working with dozens and dozens of people. This is the most common one that I've seen, that we have. I think billions of people have this on the planet. And it's like my desire for the planet to let go of it, everyone around the planet to let go of this and other beliefs. And I just invite people to sink into this one right now and see if you have this one. If you just say this and just kind of say this to yourself right now and just drop into your body, does it feel heavy? Does it feel true? I'm not good enough. And that can be a little uncomfortable even just to acknowledge it if it is there. But when we have that courage, right, and that self-kindness, self-compassion to see what's actually going on in our subconscious mind, then we have that potential to move through that and let it go. And on the other side is freedom. So I'm curious. I'm imagine there's at least a few people in the group here who feel like they have this belief. I know I had the belief myself. And I'm curious, in a minute, I'm gonna ask for a volunteer for one. If you believe that, if you sense that you have this belief, I want to show you how I can clear it for you today, forever. Okay, so just kind of take note of this one in particular. But now let's just explain a little bit more about how this works. So I'm not good enough. Where would this come from? Well, let's take the example, like going back to school, you say you were 10 years old and you got an F on your report card and you came home and dad is mad at you, right? So the event that happens is you receive a piece of paper, it says the letter F on it. You come home, dad raises his voice, dad makes certain facial expressions at you. Things happen. But then you're trying to make sense of it. So there's an interpretation. Maybe you have your feelings of fear and disconnection, and you're trying to understand why this is happening. You're trying to make sense of how this reaction that dad is having towards you, which is not favorable, which is not, it's not encouraging you, it's not meeting your needs. It might be scary, it might be overwhelming. You're trying to make sense of that. And so as a child, it makes complete sense to interpret the event and make it about you and determine, oh, it must be that I'm not good enough. That's why this is happening. Again, this is sort of unconscious for almost everybody. And it's an easy way to kind of get some needs met in the short term, to kind of get some clarity, get some understanding, get some stability, get some comfort in a sense, in a kind of backwards way. Like we're trying to help ourselves out, right? We're always trying to help ourselves out. That's really key to have that perspective. So we might just kind of wire in, I'm not good enough, as a way to explain that, because we can't really understand that dad getting mad is his own baggage. It's because he's projecting, or he had a bad day, or he has his own beliefs, right? He has his own experience when he was a kid and his dad yelled at him. We can't understand all that, or we didn't really get the chance to really understand that perspective when we're 10 years old, right? So this is just an example, but this is pretty common. So then we wire in this story about ourselves, and that kind of gets stored in the body. It gets stored in our nervous system. There's a great book you may have read called The Body Keeps the Score, which came out about a decade ago. It's been on the top 10 of the New York Times and Amazon for a while, talking about trauma and talking about these experiences that get stored in the body, right? The body keeps the score. So this it's stored in the body, but it's also stored in the mind, right? So there's this neurological storage of the belief, the concept, I'm not good enough. And so then that ends up filtering our reality. And we go out into the world and we're adults and we're trying to, you want to start a new business or you want to start a new creative project and you feel anxiety. One of the reasons you feel anxiety is because this story in the subconscious mind is filtering things out, right? It's telling you I'm not good enough, or maybe it's telling you it's not safe to fail, or it's telling you that nobody's going to like it. Different stories. There could be all huge clusters of stories, different concepts that are wired in. That creates this whole resistance in your body. That's why you're procrastinating. That's why you're afraid of failure. That's why you feel anxiety when you're going to do a round of cold calls, because you have beliefs about yourself, you have beliefs about sales, whatever it is, that are filtering your reality, and that those create emotions. So this approach that I've learned and I'm sharing now can actually clear out the beliefs very fast. And the reason we can do it is because, and we'll see in this demonstration, I connect to the part of you that believes I'm not good enough, that believes whatever the belief is. And we actually have a dialogue and we help make sense of that event where you created that belief, and you actually at the root let it go, so that part of you no longer believes it. Once the part of you subconsciously no longer believes it, that's gone forever, like Santa Claus isn't real. So that might sound like, whoa, how can it be just gone forever? But if you just think about how the Santa Claus thing, most of us grow up and we have this pretty, hefty story about Santa Claus, and we're pretty bought into it, most of us, right? And then one day it's like, oh, I get it. Santa Claus isn't real. And this new information changes things immediately. And we no longer believe the belief Santa Claus is real. That's gone forever. And it's not like the next Christmas you're like, let me reevaluate whether Santa Claus is real. I'm going to look at the evidence again. It's like, no, I think you just got it. So this is the same mechanism that happens with any of these beliefs, any of these negative beliefs. So this is why this belief elimination technique is one thing I call it. I'm still figuring out what I want to call it, but it's different than it's different than any tool out there for personal development. I've done a lot of different personal development tools, and there's a lot of value in those tools for sure. But this thing gets to the root and actually clears out the negative thing. It pulls out that weed. We'll talk about that now. So let's compare this to a technique like affirmations. So affirmations can be super valuable, and actually I still do them. But the reason they're tricky for people, they don't seem to produce results, is because you're not solving the problem. So if you're you're writing down your affirmations, I'm good enough, I'm good enough, I'm good enough, I'm good enough, or I'm powerful, or I'm worthy of success, I'm worthy of success, I'm worthy of success. That's great. But if underneath in the subconscious mind, you have a part of you that believes I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of success, I'm not powerful enough, That's like you're trying to spray air freshener on the dog crap. It might help for a bit, but we don't actually solve the problem and clear out the negative belief, then the affirmation won't really stick. Another way to look at this is, again, like weeds, or let's just think about let's just think about dandelions in a field. Let's think about another technique, meditation. Meditation, another great technique. I still do that every single day. Now, the thing though that a lot of people run into with meditation is it's a helpful tool temporarily, and we'll have this monkey mind, we'll have all this inner chatter. So we meditate, and then it calms things down a bit. But that's like if you have a huge meadow of dandelions, this big lawn of dandelions, and you go and take your lawnmower and you mow the field. That's sort of like meditation. We have now removed the noise because we meditated, and now we feel better, we feel calmer, feel quieter. Well, it's like mowing the lawn and you clear out the tips of those dandelions. The question is, did you clear out the roots? So that field of dandelions is going to grow back in a couple of weeks, right? So this is the same thing of meditation. If you meditate, but you don't actually solve these problems with it, which is that these beliefs in these parts of you are holding on to these undesirable negative beliefs, then you might calm down the monkey mind, but it's just going to come back. It's just going to come back once you get back into regular life, because these parts of you are going to be stimulated. They're going to have the experiences, and the monkey mind kicks into full gear again. So what I'm proposing is we can actually clear out at the root things like I'm not good enough. And this is my experience. I had that belief in my subconscious mind 3 years ago. That was there. Once I learned this approach and actually dialogue with the part, it's gone. Like if I say I'm not good enough to myself now, I don't resonate with it. It doesn't mean anything. It just kind of sounds weird. And so there's just been a drastic, from that belief gone itself, because it's such a core belief, that drastically reduces fear, anxiety, creates more freedom, empowerment. Let's talk about like sales is dishonest as an example. I had this one. I had a whole cluster of beliefs about sales, and I might still have a few like other ones I haven't found yet, but the main ones that I've cleared include sales is dishonest. So I had that one as of a couple of years ago, and I didn't really get into sales without going to my whole story. I didn't really get into sales until a couple of years ago, into actually, selling anything for more than a few $100s. I'd never done that in my life. And I was feeling some blocks. And once I cleared sales as dishonest, that was a huge one for me. And the anxiety started, a huge reduction in anxiety. And I felt so much more free just being on a sales call. Work has to be hard. This is a huge one for so many people. We grow up in a culture that's just always telling us to work hard and attaching it to being a noble person and your self-worth and all this stuff. But you start clearing these beliefs about work, and then they're gone. Now, we're not saying that work can never be hard. We're just saying it's not the absolute truth. It has to be hard. So you're not automatically filtering your reality, and you see work and you see like your to-do list, and you automatically start feeling anxiety because you have this belief. So you can clear this belief, and then you start just looking at your to-do list, and you just start doing it with way less friction. So that's kind of a high level, y'all, of what I'm doing. And the best thing I can do is just show you it. But I'm really excited about this and really passionate about this. I've been doing this for about a year and kind of soft launching it, if you will, as a business, and testing it out and connecting with people like Scott Leese, Ryan Nicodemus, and like starting to share this with more people. And I'm really I'm really excited about this. It's a passion for me beyond just a business, because I want the world to be free. I want people to be alive and empowered and all the good things. So volunteer. I was just going to say, we're going to take a volunteer in 1 second, and I want to let you know that I am giving away. If you're not able to be a volunteer today, I am giving away gift sessions here in the rest of November and December and January, just as a complimentary session for you to experience this. So you can go to this URL, which we can drop in the chat. That's just for Rev Genius. But let's see if we can get a volunteer right now. So if you're a person that felt like I'm not good enough is true, then we can have you come on stage. And the way you're going to do that is drop your email and your name in the chat, and Pragya will invite you to be a speaker for this Air Meet event. So you'll just drop your email and name, and then you'll get that invitation in your email inbox, and then you can join. So again, what this is going to look like, it's about 15 minutes, and I'm just going to ask you a few questions. It's a pretty simple left brain process, but it will invite you to maybe talk about a childhood memory that could come up. But I want you to know that it's a pretty simple process, and this is a safe place for anything to come up, any emotions to come up. But yeah, if you feel so courageous, would invite someone to do that. How are we doing in the chat?
Hi, Joel. I'm back. I have one person who asked, I think it was before you explained what the volunteer is supposed to do, asking what the volunteer was
Oh, okay.
supposed to do on stage. But I think you actually clarified it. So it will be a small session where you will be asking people certain questions and trying to address what is blocking them. And Nitin here, I see, has volunteered with his email. I'm going to try to bring Nitin
Great.
up without the email itself and see if that works.
Perfect. Yeah, and what I've found in doing these types of workshops before is that everyone who's following along and just listening in, that you can get a lot of value just by following along the process. And I've had people tell me that they felt like they let go of something, maybe not fully, but they felt they were vicariously kind of experiencing the process.
Absolutely. I have invited Nitin. I've invited you on stage. Could you test your mic and see if you're able to speak? Also, your camera. Yes, we see Nitin here now. Welcome, Nitin.
Yeah, hi. I'll just turn on my video.
Yes, that would be amazing. Hey, thank
All
you so much
right.
for being here. All right, I will leave the stage now, Joel. Over to you.
Perfect.
Hi,
Hey,
Joel.
Nathan, thanks for volunteering.
Yeah,
How you feeling?
yeah, I'm good. Kind of nervous
As
about it.
this
So let's see.
a little nervous? Yeah, totally makes sense.
Hmm.
So you feel like that I'm not good enough when you kind of tested that with yourself, that resonated with you?
Yeah, specifically regarding my work, I get it, and specifically when people give me feedback, I think that I'm not good enough, and that translates to me working hard, taking a lot of time for my work and leaving behind the personal things. So yeah.
Gotcha. So if you just say to yourself, I'm not good enough right now,
Hmm.
where in your body do you feel that?
Straight in stomach, right in the spot,
Say that again?
like in the stomach.
Stomach.
Yeah.
Okay, now how strong On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the strongest, how strong is that feeling in your stomach?
Um, Somewhere around like 6 to 7.
Okay. So at a 6 or a 7, involuntary response, when you say the statement,
I'm
I'm
not
not
good
good
enough.
enough, that stomach feeling comes up. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So really, let's really take note of that feeling right now. And then at the end of the process, we're going to check in and compare it. Okay. Okay. So just curious, just trusting your subconscious mind here. When in your life did you first conclude I'm not good enough?
During my college times, currently I'm working. So back in my college days, I was on a project and that didn't go well as expected. So yeah,
Okay. That's really
I
helpful. We can
uh,
work with that.
yeah.
Also just wanna check in if you scan your mind for any memories that are before college. Does it like if you scan before, does it seem like you didn't really have that belief, but then this college thing happened, started kicking in, or is there anything that was earlier that seemed to be a place you might have learned it?
Yeah, back in my school days, I think the bullying part. I'm not a like bulkier person to be able to fight with others. So usually I'll be getting beaten up verbally or physically. So yeah,
Hmm. I'm sorry that happened. That you were bullied, beaten up in school. Okay. So okay, let's work with both of these memories, but it seems like especially in the school and getting bullied, that would be the main place. So I just want to let you know that it's completely understandable and makes complete sense that you would have concluded I'm not good enough in that situation if you're getting beaten up. And then you said the college experience was like you were trying to work on a certain project and then it wasn't, the professor didn't like it kind of thing.
no, we were trying to build a car, and during the event we were supposed to run it on a racetrack, but that didn't happen. Like our car didn't meet the technical requirements, the rules that are supposed to be met. So yeah,
Okay. I
am I
think we
audible,
can,
Zoe?
yeah. It's a little hard to hear, but I got the gist.
Okay.
I think if we focus on, for the sake of simplicity, I think we can just focus on the getting bullied memory,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll go from there. So it makes sense that you would create this when you're being bullied, getting beaten up, you're trying to make sense of things, you're trying to explain why would this be happening, right? That's what we're trying to get our needs met in these types of situations as kids. Now, another way to look at it though, is it possible that it's not that I'm not good enough is the truth fundamentally about you in all situations, but rather the reason that this happened is because of those other kids when they're choosing to bully you because they had their own insecurities, their own fears, their own self-esteem deficits, their own beliefs that they're not good enough because they had maybe their parents weren't treating them healthfully and stuff like that. And they actually just took it out on you. And it was nothing to do with you. It's literally 0% about you and your good enoughness and 100% about the parts of them. Is that possible?
Yeah, uh, I like after graduating from college, there was a point where I totally broke down, like mentally, and that's when I started going back, trying to reflect what had happened through. So I am totally able to understand your point of view. Currently, I think
Yeah.
when I get the title for this seminar workshop, I specifically joined because currently in my career, the feedback that I'm receiving is making me think that maybe I'm not good enough, and I'm able to understand it actually, like the parts that I have to work upon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So now we're actually getting to the root because this story has been filtering your reality all these years. And it's nothing to do with the work, actually. It's not nothing to do with your boss, your job. It's or maybe it's not nothing, but the actual anxiety that's coming from this good enough concept is baked in from this memory, right? So we're just asking, right, for everyone listening, I'm asking a couple questions to try to kind of loosen up this weed, if you will, loosen up the tooth before we pull it out. We're asking a couple questions to look at it in a new way, a couple new interpretations of the event. So one interpretation is that it's 0% about you and 100% about those kids, right? One more interpretation. Is it possible that it's not that I'm not good enough is the absolute truth about you, about everything, forever, but that there are some skills and domains that you haven't achieved mastery in yet? Maybe there's certain skills in, you said you're a salesperson,
I'm a marketer, digital marketer.
marketing person. Maybe there's certain marketing skills or techniques or whatever that you could improve upon, but that's completely separate concept than you as a person. Maybe you're not quite skilled enough at certain tasks, but you can still, even then, you can still learn and get better. If you're not skilled enough at certain tasks right now, but that doesn't mean as a person, fundamentally, ontologically, you are not good enough. Is that another way of looking at it?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to, like, after you said, I'm trying to like sink that in, because I
Yeah,
used to interconnect
just,
both of them.
you're doing great. Just trust this. Just trust this. Just let it absorb here. So, and we're talking to the part of you that had this experience getting bullied, that's holding on to this. So, would you agree that I'm not good enough is just one interpretation of your experience?
Coming in, I'm not good enough is,
Would you agree that I'm not good enough is just one interpretation of your experience getting bullied?
interpret.
There's
Yeah,
other
yeah.
are you open to the possibility that there's other interpretations?
I think the point that you said before, like, it's about them, not me. That
Yes,
I think
but
that.
that's one interpretation.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like, you agree that there's like maybe more than one interpretation?
Yeah, and I think the other one might be, I'm just weak and so vulnerable that others can exploit me.
Say that again.
I'm just weak and I'm so vulnerable so that others can exploit me. So that opens up a.
Well, those are maybe other beliefs, right? So like, I remember I got bullied when I got not frequently, but I remember getting bullied on the playground, and I remember I literally had a belief that was created that I'm weak, and I've used this method to clear that out. So there's different beliefs that you have probably about that are coming from being bullied. We're focusing on this one particular root, and you have a whole cluster of roots that are contributing to this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're focusing on I'm not good enough right now. Okay, so if you think back to this memory, think about your sense of sight. You saw things. You saw the other kids. You saw the clothing they're wearing. You saw maybe the playground or the hallway. You saw things with your eyes, right?
Hmm.
Did you ever see with your eyes the concept I'm not good enough?
No.
No. Okay. Now, maybe you felt feelings, right? You felt scared or anxiety, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scared.
Can you
Anxiety.
connect to the feeling? Can you connect to those feelings right now?
I'm trying to, but it's a bit hard since it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But I can just understand if someone approaches me for pulling a fight, I'll just be a bit scared or anxious to say.
Okay. So you felt scared, anxious. Now, those are like actual sensations in the body, right? We're talking about sense data. You had maybe your heart rate change, maybe you had nervous system change, breathing change. Following me?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had these sensations in your body during this event. Did you actually ever feel the concept I'm not good enough? Or did you just feel sensations?
Um, Not good enough. Yeah, like mostly it will be the post post thing. Like once the incident had happened, then if I think I just assume or think that I'm not good enough, I'm
You
weak,
assumed it.
I'm not
Yeah.
strong.
So yeah. So you tell me if this is not accurate, but what I'm sensing happened is you had this. Imagine this fist as your experience. You
Hmm.
saw things with your eyes. You saw the kids.
Hmm.
You saw the playground, whatever it is. You felt things with your body,
Hmm.
and then you mapped on a meaning with your mind.
Hmm.
You interpreted it.
Hmm.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I
You
saw
mapped on
someone
I'm not good
approaching me.
enough.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
saw someone approaching me, and the feelings start to arrive, like the
Yep.
anxiousness or fear starts to come up,
And
and
then
once, yeah, I know that I'll not be able to defend myself. So maybe during that time,
yeah,
I'm just vulnerable, and I think that I'm not good enough to handle this situation.
right. So you thought it. That was my next question. So we're kind of going, everyone, we're kind of just going slow motion instant replay. You saw things, felt things in your body, then I'm not good enough was hatched. And just to be super explicit, where exactly was the thought happening?
Then I know that I'm not able to defend myself. I think,
Right. This is just a simple question. Like the thought is happening. Is that happening outside your mind or inside your mind?
no, everything within myself.
Right. So we're making a distinction, y'all. There's sense data coming in, and then the thought happens. I'm not good enough. That's the slow motion. I'm not good enough is a concept. It's not happening in sense data. It's not happening in your body. You can't have a concept in your feelings.
Hmm.
Okay. So you created this.
Yeah,
Again, and you were trying to help yourself out. Trying to explain it. Like, look, if as a child, I think it helped you to create this temporarily. If you didn't create this belief, you would have been really ungrounded. Like, what is going on in the world? I have no explanation. I'm totally have no clarity and no stability about my worldview because I can't make sense of this event. Your mind's trying to make sense of things, especially as a child. You're trying to make sense. So it helped you, man. Like we can thank the young Nathan, you know, maybe just put your arm around him and just send some love to him and understanding and gratitude for doing the best he could in a
yeah,
situation that was nothing to do with you. And it was all this, it was the environment, it was the school environment, it was the kids, their own projections. You were just trying to do the best you could, man. So the question now is it serving you as an adult to continue to believe I'm not good enough?
serving me, but not in a positive way, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, is it helping you? In what way is it helping you?
I'm saying it's not helping me actually, not in a positive way.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
so it's not, yeah. I mean, I would say it's not helping you. It's getting in the way. It's creating all this anxiety. It's creating all this self-hatred. It's like we beat ourselves up. I've done this so much of my life, beating myself up. But it's like you can clear it now. You can let it go. Um, and again, you by letting go of this belief, we're not trying to say that you are good enough at everything.
yeah,
We're not trying to say that all of a sudden, when you let go of this belief, that means you are good enough at flying airplanes.
yeah. So
Right.
I can clearly understand that I know the areas that I have to work upon, but just to achieve that, I know that I'm stretching myself too thin. Like I
Mhm.
work a lot. Even after coming home, I used to work. So
Yeah. So again, knowing when we let go of this, we get to have freedom and discernment with this belief. It's no longer going to be this program on our computer that's always open and taking up mental RAM. So I'm curious, is there any part of you that is opposed to or concerned about letting go of this belief?
letting go of belief
Yeah,
as in
like are you is there any reason? Is there any hesitation? any part of you has about no longer believing this?
Uh, I don't know actually like how to respond to this.
Okay, would you here, let's just do this. Let's test out the belief, and then we'll go from there. So we've pretty much finished this process, but let's check in with it and see how it's going. So we did some deep work there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say a couple of weird sentences just to clear our mind up. So let's see. Say the way to be a dog is to be a cat.
Should I have to repeat?
The way to be a dog is to be a cat.
Oh, should I have to repeat that?
Just say it. Just say it.
Okay, the way to be a dog is to be a cat.
Does that sound true? Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. Say 3 + 3 = 12.
3 plus. Should I say 6 or 12?
No, just say 3 + 3 = 12.
Okay, 3 plus 3 equals 12.
Okay. Does that seem true?
No,
Okay. Say I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough.
How does that sound?
Not so good actually.
Okay.
Not true. I guess.
So how does that feeling? How strong is it?
Somewhere around like 5, 6. Maybe.
Okay. So this part of you still is holding on to it a bit.
Mm.
And what is that? What is that part of you needing right now?
What is the part?
What is that part of you needing?
Uh,
Is
I
it
think it's
needing
still-
some reassurance? Is it needing some comfort? What is it? Why does it want to keep believing I'm not good enough?
I think it's reassurance, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I work hard and still they give me constructive feedback or things that I have to work upon without recognizing what I've done so far.
Okay. So you want to be recognized for what you've done. You want to be acknowledged. You want to be appreciated. You want
Yeah,
reassurance that you're going to perform at a high level.
yeah.
Yeah, because
So I want people to believe that I will be able to do.
yeah, it's common that this has helped you maybe try to perform at a high level. It kind of like lights a fire under you, right? You just tell yourself I'm not good enough, so I better work harder. Does that resonate?
Yeah, true.
So it's helped you kind of perform at a high level all these years. Does that seem right?
It did. Yeah,
Okay. So, but it's also hurt you.
yeah,
You see both sides of it? Okay,
yeah.
so do you think that there could be other ways to make sure that you perform at a high level other than to believe I'm not good enough?
Um, I think I should be thinking that I am good enough and still should be able to identify the key areas where I should improve on and work on it.
Yeah, maybe you can still you can still trust yourself, maybe,
Yeah,
to see, those key areas, I still need to improve about that, But like maybe you can let go of believing that you as a person are not good enough fundamentally in all situations forever. Sounds like this party wants some trust that you're still going to perform at a high level.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe just let that part know that you're there for him and that you still intend to look at the truth of how well you're performing and look at those key areas. Let me ask you this. Is it possible that you'll actually be more effective in looking at the key areas if you let go of I'm not good enough? Because you will think more clearly. Because this automatic involuntary story won't be filtering your whole experience. And you'll actually be able to see, okay, well, okay, clearly it's not that I'm not good enough as a person, but I'm not good enough at this marketing technique. You see how you might be actually be able to be more effective at identifying the key areas and perform at a higher level if you let go of I'm not good enough?
Yes.
Okay. So again, just to recap here, have you ever actually seen I'm not good enough with your eyes?
No.
Have you ever felt I'm not good enough with your body?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, not body, but when I think that just
So this is common, y'all. We have this conflation.
yeah.
So your body's feeling, this is common. We'll say, I feel I'm not good enough. Well, you're actually, it's not possible to feel I'm not good enough, right? You're just conflating the thought with the sensation. You have felt anxiety in your life, but I'm asking you if the concept I'm not good enough, have you ever felt it with your body?
No.
Okay, so you thought it with your mind. And you are is it correct that you are the person that first created this thought?
Yeah.
Okay. So is there any evidence that it's true?
No.
You made it up.
Yeah.
You created a story. That's what we do as humans. We make meaning. We're meaning-making machines, y'all. And that's a beautiful thing. It helps us in many ways. You see the sunset, and we see that as incredible, and we say that's beautiful, and this is romantic, whatever meaning you want to make. But the truth is, the actual sunset, the colors, do they mean anything by themselves?
It's our interpretation.
It's your interpretation. So the kids who did things to you when you're growing up, they said they punched you, or they said things to you. Things actually happened, but I'm not good enough. Was that one of the things that happened, or was that interpretation?
Yeah. Something over here.
Yeah. Okay. How you doing? How you doing?
Yeah.
You feeling better?
Yeah. Now I'm kind of okay.
Okay. Thank you. Let's just check in. Say the way to be a bunny is to be a tomato.
The way to be?
Just say a silly sentence again. Say the way to be a bunny is to be a tomato.
The way to be a bunny is to be a tomato.
Okay. Say I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough.
How's that feeling?
Somewhere around 3, 4.
Okay. Well, for the sake of time, y'all, we won't close things up, but what I would say is this one's been a little bit more stubborn, so to speak. It's still at a 3. And there also could just be other beliefs that you have that are related. You could have a belief, I'm not enough. It could be a belief, I'm weak. There's other beliefs that might be kind of kicking in. And I would probably want to work with you a little bit longer to fully clear that out. In my experience, 95% of the time we're able to clear it out all the way to 0. But yeah, I think do you feel lighter? How do you feel?
Yeah, that's true, of course.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a bit light, and I'm just trying to understand the words that you just said, interpretation, and everything is in my head, the way I say it. So,
yeah. Yeah, and maybe it might just take you a second to kind of integrate what happened. But again, if maybe people following along resonate with, well, it's like we're just connecting to this child part of you that has made this story. There's no actual evidence of it, right? So we have a couple minutes for some Q&A, so I'm gonna let you go and take some questions from the audience here. And I'm okay to go a little bit over the hour, by the way, if anyone wants to if we need to.
So I'm done, right?
Yeah. Let's see. How do I find the chat here? Let's see. Okay. I know I'm good enough, even exceptional, just not exceptional as an SDR. So Ahmad is asking about, oh, I guess that's not a question. Yeah. Any questions that are coming up? But yeah, like the main comment Ahmad is mentioning here. It's like there's a difference between your actual performance and the ontological, like I'm not good enough as a person. So yeah, thank you again, Ethan, for showing up and being courageous in front of a live audience of people around the world. It's really appreciate your vulnerability, your openness to me as basically a stranger showing up and talking about this deep stuff. So yeah, if any other questions here about how this works, when results aren't in line with expectations and there's more work to be done which can contribute to better results, how does Joel's advice address the need to work harder belief? Yeah. So there's a few things to kind of untangle there, but it's kind of making the distinction between what the external expectation is, which is other people's beliefs. You might have a boss that has a certain belief about what employees need to be doing, right? And they might have certain expectations and you need to be doing this or that. And the question is, when you look inward, do you have certain beliefs about what an employee is? What about working hard? So, maybe people have deep beliefs like what makes me worthy is working hard, or the way to be safe is to work hard. People, if we're told from our parents that this is essential to have this work ethic, then we fear that if we don't live up to those expectations from our parents, then we'll lose their love. And as a kids, we need our parents' love. And we need to have that attachment and connection. So we might absorb that type of belief. And so when you let go of the beliefs that are, again, in your own control, is your own physiology, your own neurology, your own belief structures, then you can be free. And then on my experience, the more I clear beliefs, the more I just am present with what is actually happening. Oh, this person is saying you need to do this. This person is saying you need to work 10 hours a day. That's just a statement. Now, how I react to that is in my power. And the more we clear out the subconscious, then we don't have these automatic reactions to things. You're welcome, Ethan. I'm really glad this has helped you. Other questions? You're welcome, Eric. Yeah, I hope that people got value just kind of vicariously following along. And again, I'm happy to do a session with you. We got that link, and you can just book a call with me here. There's limited sessions available. I'm kind of getting this business off the ground, and I'm just trying to be conscientious about allocating the time. So at the same time, I would love to share this with you. And typically, Jose asked, how many sessions do I recommend? Typically, I work with clients for 12 sessions. And so what I do is we kind of take an inventory in the first call about what are the main patterns. Is it procrastination? Is it sales blocks? Is it fear of failure? Is it self-worth, anxiety things? What's getting in the way? And then we kind of start to make an initial list of what are those beliefs that are the kind of cluster of beliefs that are contributing to the pattern, right? If you have a whole cluster of beliefs, I'm not good enough, I'm weak, I don't matter, I can't do it, I'm not valuable enough, these types of things, those as a cluster are going to create the pattern. And so we start to clear the pattern over the course of 12 weeks, but the more we knock out several beliefs each week, and it starts to reduce.
Thank you so much, Joel. That was really moving. And I really want to once again say to Nitin for his courage. It's always so hard to volunteer for
Yeah.
something like this. So, really, really thankful to him as well for making this come alive for all of us who are watching behind without our cameras and audios. So, yes, thank you for that. I have dropped the link to be able to book the sessions with you, Joel, and I've pinned it in the chat. I will also include it in the recap email that I'll send to everybody. I had some
Awesome.
messages from people asking if the session is being recorded. Yes, definitely it is. It was being recorded, and we will send a recording to everybody. Joel, any last words? I know we are a little bit over time, but I still see that there are some people hanging around.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for everyone, your openness to this conversation at large, and to take that step of even just being aware of that you have anxiety or self-doubt, or that you have any sort of pattern, and not pushing that away to the side and saying, I'm going to have that courage to kind of look straight at what is there in my consciousness. And that's that art of living consciously, the art of self-acceptance, the art of self-love, to say, hey, this is happening for me. It might feel prickly, it might feel tender, but to actually look at that and give it a big hug and say, what can I do in my own personal empowerment to connect with these parts of me, that usually we're growing up, we're trying to navigate our environments, and that's, we can compassionately recognize that those parts of us did the best they could, and they're holding on, but that the more we can kind of reparent our inner child, right, then we can begin to let go of these layers. We can peel off the layers of the onion and just be that true self, and be fully whole and alive and free. And so it's a process, it's a process. I do think that it can be very much faster than humans have been doing it for these past decades of past century of like psychology. And this is a new technology that I'm sharing, that if there's a few people doing it, a couple of my friends here in Austin, and I'm just really lit up about trying to share this with more people so that people can be empowered to let go of these stories. So thank you for having me, and I appreciate everybody.
Thank you so much once again. And the way to be a dog is to be a cat, is what I'm going to take away.
That's the lesson of the day.
Absolutely. That was amazing. All right. Thank you so much for everybody who's still here, 5 minutes over, and hope to see you again. And I'm going to try to get Joel back again next year, early January or something, so that we can start the new year with some great vibes like we did today.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.